Hey Liz, can you fix your hair a little bit? We've got pieces sticking out everywhere.
I hate these cowlicks.
Perfect.
I'm gonna have a really short intro. Hey guys, welcome to Rustic Kitchen. Thanks for spending your Friday night with us. We have a very special show for you this evening. Very simple, very easy, all things you can do at home and days in advance. So tonight's show is a perfect prime rib au jus with roasted root vegetables and a big, delicious popover. Period.
Her smile, the brightest of summer skies. Her walk floats like the butterflies. Say cheers and toast to a beautiful girl. And I finally see what I was really meant to be. And all paths that led right to where I stand. And this is who I am.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming your host, Elizabeth Bramwell.
We have a very special show for you this evening. Very simple, very easy, all things you can do at home, if not days in advance. And essentially, tonight's show is a perfect prime rib au jus with roasted root vegetables and a big, delicious popover. Oh, I love it. All right, good. The first thing I'm going to get started on is going to be my roasting rack for underneath my prime rib, okay? Unlike a lot of people, I do not have $150 to $300 laying around to purchase a very expensive roasting rack. So instead, I go to the grocery store and I spend about $3 on vegetables, all right? I put them underneath my roast while the roast is cooking. In addition to acting like a sponge and soaking up all the juices, all the fat, and all the flavor that are gonna come out of the roast, they also caramelize. And you could use them in your au jus. You could use them in the base of a stock or a sauce as well as a flavoring agent, right? Not bad for $3. Can't remember the last time I actually bought something for $3 that was as awesome as vegetables. Yeah. All right, so I have my carrots and my celery in here. I'm gonna add some onion as well. Very exciting. This is a very simple combination in the culinary world that we call mirepoix. How many of you have made a prime rib at home? Perfect. This side, sorta, kinda? Prime rib, tell me, do you rub your prime rib with something? Do you crust it with salt and pepper? Do you...
I crust it with everything.
You crust it with everything?
Garlic, mushroom, thyme, basil.
So you're gonna invite me over to have some sometime? Because that sounds really good. What's your rub for the outside of your prime ribs?
Whatever Mama Lou puts in a bag.
Nice. Miscellaneous?
A friend of mine puts it in a baggie and says, use this on your prime rib and rub it on. All of us. All rub it on.
Let's have a cheers to that.
Cheers to Mama Lou!
So let's get our rub together. I have my food processor over here and I'm just gonna combine some simple ingredients, right? Garlic, right, classic. Dijon mustard, also classic. As well as some thyme, rosemary, salt, pepper, olive oil, things of that nature. At this point, the rub is ready. The rack is ready. My meat has come up to room temperature. At this point, I do want to involve the rub that I just made. All right, so I have a very large piece of prime rib here. So I'm gonna flip this over. The fat cap should be on the top when you roast prime rib. It's very important, right? What's the reason for eating prime rib? The fat. The fat. Sue's apparently the only one that knows here. All right. Let's get some of my rub on the bottom. Doesn't it? That's my deodorant. I'm just gonna rub the bottom here. Now, I usually save the majority of my rub for the top and for the sides, right? Because the way you think about it, this is gonna be on the bottom. However, you don't wanna forget, you don't wanna not put anything on there. But a lot of this is gonna kind of drip off. Let's get my pan over, okay? So let's flip this. Thank you, Pat. Okay. And then of course I wanna get the rest of my rub. What do you mean?
Well, what you just coated is going to basically benefit the veggies then.
It will benefit the meat as well. Don't worry. There's a reason. Otherwise, I'd just tell you to skip the bottom because it would be a waste of time. All right, so rub. This is worth 120 grand right here. Learning how to massage the meat properly.
That was about 4,000.
Nothing on me though. It's ready to go into the oven, right? So it's over its vegetables. It has its crust on the outside. It's already at room temperature. So let's put this into the oven. So start your roast at 425 degrees for 15 minutes. Then turn the temperature down to 325 and cook it for 15 to 20 minutes per pound. The roast is in the oven. First stage down. The next thing I'm gonna get started on is going to be my vegetables, okay? My vegetable medley. I have these absolutely adorable little baby carrots, right? Baby carrots I'm just cutting in half. And then I have these absolutely adorable fingerlings are so good. You know what's funny is I had never seen a fingerling potato until I think I was 14, and I just thought that they were like the runt of the litter potatoes, which they're actually not. They're like a beautiful heirloom potato. But skins on fingerling potatoes are very similar to a chef potato or a waxy potato, right? So the skins are very thin, very edible. However, you do want to make sure that you wash them prior to usage, right? Nobody likes to eat dirt, even though it's happened to all of us. Actually, my mom tells me all the time that when I was a child, that I used to throw my potato chips in the sand at the beach and then pick them up and eat them because texturally, they were a little more appealing when they were covered with sand. So, fingerling potatoes, baby carrots. Who can tell me what this veggie is? Parsnips. You guys are so good. Yes, parsnips. Perfect. However, unlike a carrot, even though it looks like a gigantic white carrot, and almost tastes kind of like a carrot, but not really. Unlike a carrot, the skins are near inedible. All right, they tend to be on the bitter side. They also tend to be very rough texturally. They hold on to dirt, right? But it's sad because with root vegetables, 80% of the nutrition in a root vegetable is actually in its skin. So every time you go to peel your root vegetable, you're getting rid of the majority of the things that can help you out in the long run.
Why are you peeling towards yourself?
I always peel towards myself. It's a horrible habit that I've had since I was 14.
It's bad.
I know it is, but I'm peeling with a peeler. It's not a knife. I would never cut towards myself. If I died via peeler, there would have to be some ridiculous circumstances that go along with that. Like I was peeling on the edge of a cliff and I fell onto the peeler. Otherwise, there isn't a peeler on this planet that's sharp enough for me to go down in flames with. But I appreciate you asking.
I was just looking out for your well-being.
When I was in culinary school, I had a class devoted specifically to knife cuts. Genuinely felt like I learned 150,000 different knife cuts. However, I realized the other day that there are actually only 9. That's how long I was in that class for. It was good. But I only use about 4 of them, one of which I'm going to show you today. Right? So here are my 4 knife cuts. So I have the oblique cut, julienne, right? A bâtonnet, and then a brunoise. Yes?
Demonstrate, please.
Perfect. Doreen, I'm glad you said that. I will demonstrate it for you. All right, so this is called the oblique cut. It's also called the roll cut or the boat cut, right? So I'm cutting on a bias, and I'm turning at a 45-degree angle and cutting, right? 45 degrees, cut, 45 degrees, cut.
And what's that called again?
This is called the oblique, right? So it's also called the roll cut or the boat cut. So veggies are in. Okay, so I have my baby carrots, my fingerling potatoes, my parsnips, and then I also have roasted red peppers that I've already julienned. And these are going right in. All right, salt, pepper, olive oil, and a little bit of sage in here. Sage, an herb that I find that the majority of people do not use. Either they don't understand it or they haven't eaten it enough to appreciate it. It is the most expensive herb that you can buy. With root vegetables, don't be afraid to season them. Root vegetables act like sponges. They will suck up as much sodium as you can possibly give them. These are going to disappear. For me, in my personal opinion, when it comes to roasting vegetables, 375 is the magic temperature. It's what I use at home. It's what I use here at work. It doesn't matter if your oven is a year old or 100 years old. 375 tends to be that perfect temperature for the caramelization of vegetables, right? These are going to disappear. So when it comes to cooking vegetables, best way for you to do it and time things out is just every 10 to 15 minutes, take it out and eat it. Try it. First 15 minutes in, you should be able to judge from there how much longer you've been, right? How many of you like vegetables crispy? Like closer to raw than cooked? Yeah? How many of you love baby food? Nobody. All right, then I'm not even gonna go there. No, you know what? My aunt loves baby food, vegetables. She will cook a vegetable until it's no longer recognizable by any living, breathing thing on this planet. Like my dog wouldn't even eat the asparagus.
Like how we grew up. Our father, his father, they loved mush, is what they would eat. So that's how my mother would always cook it. And we grew up thinking, like, not knowing about al dente. And we just always ate baby food. And then, like, when we grew up, we're like, why were we eating this mush? We eating vegetables like this.
Sorry, you guys, much happier beings as adults with crispy veggies. Let's have a cheers to crispy vegetables. Cheers. So when we come back, I'll show you how to make some delicious popovers. How many of you have made popovers? How many of you made successful popovers? Did you? Yes. Additional leavener or not? So what was your leavener? Eggs. Traditional popover is made of only 4 ingredients. Your dairy, so your egg, and your milk, all-purpose flour, and then salt. That should really be the only ingredients in a traditional popover recipe. All right, so a little over a cup of all-purpose flour, all right, into the bowl. A hearty pinch of salt in here. I'm gonna put a half of a teaspoon's worth of baking powder. This is how you are going to make a successful popover by cheating. All right?
Baking powder makes it cheating?
Baking powder makes it cheating. Yes, the additional leavener. Or what you can also do, which is what I've done in the past, is let's say you don't have baking powder, but you have cake flour. Cake flour has 2 additional leaveners in it. You can substitute half of your all-purpose for cake, and it actually makes for an even fluffier popover. Then it has the additional leaveners in it, so you can look kind of cheap, but not really. If you have food in front of you guys, I encourage you to eat it while it's hot. Salt is important. Let me finish finish my popover batter. All right, so I have my salt, my flour, and my baking powder in here. I'm gonna put about a cup's worth of milk in here. Right. This is whole milk. Yes. Whenever you're baking, just always use whole milk. Always use whole milk. You need that little addition of fat. You know, trying to cut it short there just doesn't quite work with reduced fat dairy products. I'm gonna add my eggs. Popover batter should be a near 1:1:1 ratio. All right? So a cup of flour to 1 cup of whole eggs to 1 cup of dairy.
Elizabeth, I don't know if you've noticed I'm on camera, and I have to be eating what we're making tonight.
Patrick, how's your dinner?
It's delightful. I don't know if anyone's had what we're having tonight,
Can you say that?
but it's fantastic. I'd say that again and again on camera. This is amazing.
When it comes to making popovers, normally your pan, whatever you're baking it in, should be the same temperature as your oven, all right, which is something that they usually don't tell you when it comes to making popovers, right? So you put the pan in, when you turn your oven on, you bring it up to 400 degrees, all right? Pull the pan out of the oven very carefully, pour your fat into each compartment, and then spoon in your popover base. You want to fill it between 2/3 and 3/4 of the way up. Keep in mind that it should, since you added baking powder, it's going to almost triple in size. If you only use eggs as your leavener, it will double in size, all right? That additional kick of leavener really is an additional kick. And the fact that you have greased your pan will aid in it rising straight up and over. Hey. So, my muffin tins are full. For us here in our ovens, we bake in a still oven at 400 degrees for about 45 minutes, all right? No opening of the oven door, pure trust on the oven, and then of course the person who made the base. When we come back, I'll show you very quickly how to make an au jus, and then we'll plate up. So let me quickly walk you through the au jus. First, put a little olive oil in your hot pan, then saute some sliced Spanish onion and garlic. Deglaze with red wine and reduce the liquid slightly. Add your veal stock, thyme sprigs, salt, and pepper, and reduce that liquid by half. Strain out your solids and serve your au jus hot.
Liz?
Yeah.
That's nice. Amazing.
Doesn't it? While you guys are finishing and while you're eating, I'm going to show you very quickly how to plate up. So, roasted veggies are gonna go on the bottom. All right. You wanna make sure that you get a little bit of everything. Taters, parsnips, carrots, as well as roasted reds. All right. Perfect. And then, I'm gonna take my slab of meat. Pip. Oh, that looks good. All right, so now I'm a big fan of just getting the sauce right on there. And I want to put my sauce on before I put my pop over there. So I'm just gonna hold back. So let's just get this on there. Now, you can by all means keep slivered onions and garlic in the sauce if you want them. I choose not to. Whenever you are cooking for other people, you have to think of the needs of the masses, not just the needs of yourself. However, I do have 3 aunts that would beg to differ. And then, of course, popover. I think we're gonna go here. And then of course I'm gonna put a little microgreens on my plate. Right? And then last but never least, nice rosemary spray, right? Be my friend, be my friend. I'm gonna do this. You can't have it back once I take it.
That's fine.
Did you lick it?
No.
All right.
Swear to God.
We'll take that, because Pepe and I are gonna eat this after we go on the other side of the water. You know what, we should make a whole show about how Pepe and I eat after the show.
You should.
There it is. Looks good. Don't forget, the one ingredient that most people forget to put into their food because they're either confused or rushed or making something that they don't know how to make is love. So just remember to put the love in your food and then your popovers will look like Canada. What do you guys think? Thanks for watching. Join me each week at The Cooking Show live from Rustic Kitchen. Our next show is pan-seared diver scallops basted with lemon and thyme over a risotto of spring vegetables and a citrus salad. See you there.